This most recent story literally came across my desk in the last 30 minutes while I was prepping. So I had 30 minutes to get this one together. But it's a pretty big story with Colin Powell and his emails that were leaked, that were hacked and released. The emails were released this evening rather, at according to the Intercept, it was released this afternoon around 7:50, and it was released by an individual or an organization named DC Leaks, who has a relationship with Guccifer 2.0, the hacker that most people believe, or many people are accusing of being Russian intelligence. But the leaks were given to a group of reporters this evening, just today, just a few moments ago. And I received the information by virtue of Lee Fong of the Intercept. The Intercept has published an article on it. The reporting was done by Lee Fong and Naomi LaChance. So go check out their reports. But before you go check it out, I can break it down for you. So Colin Powell, as you can see on your screen here, former Secretary of State, has this unique relationship with Hillary Clinton, one of camaraderie, and but emails have been released showing some insights into what Colin Powell actually thinks about Hillary Clinton. And it's important to discuss because it's not just his feelings about Hillary Clinton. It's his feelings about Hillary Clinton on some very specific issues, including the her email gate, including her sickness or her health in general, and just including her penchant for how Colin Powell described in one email, dicking things up, and doing so with a lot of hubris. And so the email exchange was between Colin Powell and his business partner, Jeffrey Leeds. Jeffrey Leeds is pictured here on my screen. He is considered to be a Democratic mega donor. He is also a business partner with Colin Powell, and in email exchanges with Colin Powell, they discuss different things about Hillary Clinton's relationship or attitude towards President Obama, as well as Hillary Clinton's health. So I want to share a couple of images on your screen here. Let me start with with Colin Powell's, some of his comments about Hillary Clinton and her email scandal. So on your screen now are some quotes that were taken from Colin Powell. He said, "Sad thing, Hillary Rodham Clinton, could have killed this 2 years ago by merely," and speaking of the email scandal, "by merely telling everyone honestly what she had done and not tie me to it." He was expressing some frustration with the fact that Hillary Clinton and her team more specifically, were trying to tie him to Hillary Clinton's email practices. And so he goes on, and his frustration picks up. He says, "They're going to dick up the legitimate and necessary use of emails with frickin' record rules. I saw email more like a telephone than a cable machine. And as long as the stuff is unclassified, I had a secure state.gov machine." And then he states, "Everything HRC touches, she kind of screws up with hubris." All right, so he's discussing his frustration with the changes that are inevitably going to come because of Hillary Clinton's handling of emails. And he expressed here, he said he's made it clear, and he even discussed it in his book, that he had a private email account as well as his state.gov. That's been discussed ad nauseum. But this goes into just a little bit of his thinking with regard to how Hillary Clinton actually handled her email situation, not just her not willing to be forthcoming. Just not the fact that she wasn't forthcoming with the American public, not just that, but also her penchant to mess things up. And when she messes things up, she messes it up with hubris. So he goes on. That's not it. He actually had more to say. Colin Powell also stated, "I told her staff 3 times not to try that gambit. I had to throw a mini tantrum at a Hamptons party to get their attention. she keeps tripping into these quote unquote character minefields. But most importantly is the story about Colin Powell's frustration with Hillary Clinton tying him to her email controversy because, one, it was not necessary. It could have been squashed from the beginning. Two, she has, and he said this, she has the penchant for dicking things up and doing so with great hubris. All right, so I think what's going to be interesting with this is going to be the backlash more than anything else. Because ultimately, this is probably a 3-day news cycle, if that. But 2 days probably. But in that news cycle, these are the things that you're going to see. You're going to see a tremendous backlash from Hillary Clinton supporters against Colin Powell. Clearly, I mean, that's a given. But what's going to be interesting is that you're going to see some people who are going to all of a sudden remember how many things Colin Powell did wrong while he was Secretary of State. And one of the things that stands out the most clearly is that Colin Powell helped get us into Iraq, searching for weapons of mass destruction. And I think it's going to be fascinating to watch people attempt to crucify, by people, I mean Hillary Clinton supporters and her surrogates, to crucify Colin Powell because of these very strong statements into the character of Hillary Clinton. It's the statements, the direct statements from Colin Powell about Hillary Clinton's character that is the most damning. And that's what the firewall, her black firewall, her surrogates, right now, I guess, go online. And I guarantee you're going to see some vitriolic backlash that includes Colin Powell's failings as Secretary of State, particularly with regard to Iraq. The hilarious thing is going to be watching these people dance around Colin Powell's failings in Iraq and trying to maintain Hillary Clinton's absolution on Iraq. In other words, they're going to try to nail him with Iraq while keeping her safe and clear and in the free and innocent of Iraq. So that's going to be something that we'll probably see happen in the next few days. But still, I don't think that it reveals anything that most of us did not suspect or know or feel about Hillary Clinton. The number one takeaway for me is that it's this inability to be forthcoming and transparent, which could help avoid so much of her troubles. And that's exactly what Colin Powell expressed.